This bird is Kia, and it can speak, it can talk, it can channel in the voices of some musicians. And today, Kia is going to help us to pronounce the name of the band that we're going to talk about today.
Slugdge. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Is that correct?
No. Slugdge.
Sorry, say that
Just
again?
it's easy. Slugdge. Just easy like that.
Slugdge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks everyone. Enough of that. Oh yeah, guys, we're talking cosmic squids. Kev Pearson and Matt Moss form a duo of quote-unquote bedroom musicians from Lancashire, England, commonly known as Slugdge. Esoteric Malacology is their fourth studio album, and it came out on the 2nd of March 2018 through Willow Tip Records, which is an independent label based in Zelienople, Pennsylvania. When you're dealing with extreme metal, it can be pretty hard to find anything worth listening to, I feel. You're pretty much oversaturated by an overwhelming pool of bands. It can feel like everything that can be done with the genre has already been done by some band somewhere. It can kind of feel discouraging too. I mean, why listen to this or this band when that or that band are doing essentially the same thing? And that's where Sludge comes along just to remind you that it was all worth the research. And Esoteric Malacology is their finest album to date, and personally, my favorite so far of 2018. Let's get rid of the obvious here. Sludge have a pretty obvious fetish for snails, puns, squids, just tentacles in general. Reading the lyrics of any of their songs is like reading the most grandiose Lovecraft fanfiction out there. It's completely over the top and ridiculous. They even have their own mythos and storyline. They don't take themselves too seriously, and that's pretty refreshing. I'm just gonna read something off their Bandcamp page. Delve into the mephitic melodies of Molluscus's melodious minions once more with Esoteric Malacology, the latest gastropodian gospel from Slugdge. Journey through the annals of Slishik history, through the death and rebirth of the supreme cosmic overlord, and unlock mental gateways to even more horrendous and nonsensical realities than ever before. You can tell that these guys have a lot of fun, and that's a breath of fresh air. They don't take themselves seriously at all, and I think that's pretty cool. However, even if Sludge don't take their lyrics and their stories seriously, don't let that fool you into thinking that it's just another funny sounding parody metal band, because their music is very, very serious. This album does not mess around. War Squids, the album opener, starts by throwing a hard-hitting, catchy melodic riff right at your face from the get-go. And you already know by then, by the first 5 seconds, that you're about to listen to something absolutely amazing. This album excels at throwing amazingly catchy riffs without sacrificing its heaviness. They're truly the best I've heard in a long while. Every single one of these riffs is good, great even. Good would be the worst riff in there. And I'm not exaggerating at all. Not only that, but they're always varied, always engaging and imaginative. It takes a lot of imagination to keep it fresh, especially with this genre of music, and Sludge absolutely nailed it. Their melodic death metal parts are the perfect blend of harmony, melody, and heaviness, while their more black metal bits are as evil, crushing, fast, and violent as you could ask for. Either way, you cannot help but headbang the hell out. Even when they play some fantastic, diabolical solos, you're really not sure whether you should bang your head or if your face should melt. Because yes, when you're not rocking your head until your ears bleed, you're treated with some of the most exquisite soloing I've heard in a long while. Every time Slugdge solos, it's always an event. Even the easily overlooked clean guitar solo from Soul Thrower is amazing. Putrid Fairy Tale, though, features the best solo, in my opinion, that is available in this album. And it would be a disservice to put it in this review. You really have to go and experience it for yourself. It's my favorite song of the album, and it showcases everything there is to enjoy about it. Seriously, go listen to it right now. Yeah, we're avoiding spoilers even in album reviews now. Anyway, another great point is that Sludge aren't afraid to show some technicality in their playing and also in their songwriting in general, while still being efficient and accessible enough so you can enjoy it without a nuclear physics PhD. That is pretty rare and commendable in my opinion, and it's rich but never pretentious. And I mean, how could you be pretentious with a concept album about a giant snail god conquering death and the multiverse? That's besides the point, though. Nevertheless, I think it shows a great mastery of balance, not only for the riffs, but for the entirety of the record. Nothing is saturated, and the whole listen is never tiring. Even the best parts never overstay their welcome, sorry. It just makes them all the more enjoyable and memorable. In other words, the pacing of the album is really quite good. This is mainly thanks to the band's crushing musicianship and the amazing way they build and construct their songs. The transition between riffs in different time signatures or in different moods flow very naturally, and it never feels forced. It always feels satisfying, and the tracks themselves flow beautifully into each other. I noted right here, Crop Killer's outro introduces the Spectral Barrows technical starting kind of riff very beautifully, and Soul Throwers is kind of a slower song, and it's exactly what you needed after the insanity of Putrid Fairy Tale. The vocals balance themselves out pretty well too. Most of them are shrieks or typical metal growls, which I think in this album aren't really fantastic, even if they do the job very well. But sometimes you have some pretty nice clean vocals that only get better and better as the runtime progresses. At first, they appear, I think, in the Crop Killer, and they're more of a humorous chant-like type of vocal, which aren't really exceptional, but they do showcase Slug's sense of humor pretty well. But from the Spectral Barrows to the very end, they are actually layered, beautifully, and make for memorable and very catchy moments. This LP is almost perfect. I say almost because I think there are two songs in there that are pretty good, but pale in comparison to the greatness that is the rest of the LP. Transylvanian Fungus and Limo Vincit Omnia, how that's pronounced, lack the excitement and imagination that make the rest of the album so poignant and such a consistent listen throughout. I feel like they were both meant to change the pace a little bit, since they're kind of slower songs, and me not liking them as much as the rest has nothing to do with that at all. Soul Thrower, once again, uh, does a way better job at changing things up than these two songs combine. And don't get me wrong, the songs are good, the riffs are good, the musicianship is there, but I feel like we kind of could have done without them. The total runtime would have been about 45 minutes instead of an hour, which I think is a bit more ideal for this kind of music, at least. And the album would have been a little bit more consistent throughout, granting it a perfect score for me, if I had a scoring system, at least. I'm not kidding, really not. It was still that great. I think you can begin to understand how good this album is. In always engaging, varied, prog-infused riff fest that renews itself consistently, superb, technical, yet accessible playing, great, catchy, clean vocals, and some of the best soloing in recent memory. Also, a story about a giant cosmic gastropod god. Really, what more could you ask for an extreme metal act? It's been a really long time since I've enjoyed a metal album so much, especially in the death metal extreme genre. Um, and I'm probably going to listen to it for a very, very long time, and so should you. You should also check out the interview that Matt Moss did with Toilet of Hell and TeamRock.com's article on the band. Both of these show great insight to the band's songwriting philosophy, which I think is really a breath of fresh air. If they don't have fun writing or composing music, they just don't do it. Their main goal is just to have fun, and I think that's what matters the most. And I think it really transpired in this album. The reason why it is so enjoyable is because they had so much fun doing it. And I think you can only achieve this level of greatness with a genuine love for the music. If you like metal in any way, do yourself a big favor and go buy it. Slugdge is definitely a band that deserves your support. Or not. Maybe I'm the only one who likes snail metal. So, tell me what you guys thoughts about this album in the comments, and I'll see you very soon. Have a good one.